unflinching coverage of the everyday life of the Friends Academy student. This is FATV.
Hello Friends Academy and welcome to this edition of FATV. I'm Izzy Rosen.
And I'm Xander Byers.
Today's episode will focus on the events that occurred during the end of our first semester. Our main story today highlights the importance of the Meeting House and Quakerism in our community, with a special feature on Peace Week and an interview with Laman Tenzin.
But first, let's take a look at what's happening on campus. Our men's varsity basketball team has been doing extremely well this season. Overall, the team is 13-3 and has scored a total of over 400 points. Keep up the good work, boys. We're excited to welcome 3 new members to the FA community. Ms. Terenz's son, Thomas, Carl Hensch's son, Charles, and Ms. Fornell's daughter, Hewitt. Congratulations to all 3 of you, and welcome to the FA community.
The Matinecock Meeting House, built by Quakers in 1725, is an integral part of Quaker life at Friends Academy. The Matinecock Meeting House is one of the oldest in the U.S. Every Thursday from 9:50 to 10:25, the upper school comes together in the Meeting House to center, share silence, and messages from the heart. Anyone can speak if they feel inspired to do so, as Quakers believe everybody has an equal access to God.
We interviewed John Scardina, otherwise known as Teacher John, to talk about his experience with Quakerism, meeting for worship, and the goal as a Quaker in residence.
Ironically, in 1650, shortly after Quakers were founded, it became illegal to be a Quaker in England. That's partly why a lot of Quakers came over to North America. Okay, so there are not that many very, very old meeting houses in England because you couldn't build a meeting house to be a Quaker. People met in one another's homes. They sort of met in secret. You know, they were always under the possibility of being arrested for having a Quaker meeting. So when people came here, meeting houses were certainly illegal here. The Dutch here, the original of the colony of New York, were pretty open-minded about religion. So the Matinecock meeting, which started in 1671, met in people's houses. That again was pretty common. It wasn't until 1725 that they built the first meeting house. Our present meeting house is a replica of that first meeting house because that first one burned down in 1985. And then he built it, same place, same design, 1 year later. A meeting house is different than, say, a synagogue or, say, especially a Catholic church. In a synagogue, the Ark of the Covenant, the Torah is there. The whole idea of like keeping the lamp lit. In a Catholic church, the relics of the saints, the Eucharist being present, those things keep that a sacred space all the time. For Quakerism, that meeting house, when we're not there, is just a very simple, elegant building. That's all it is. It becomes sacred space when we bring it, when we bring in our piece of God into that space. So by itself, it's just a building. With the entrance of everyone bringing their piece of divinity there, it becomes a sacred space. That's why we hope, and believe me, no school gets this perfectly, and we don't. We hope people are quiet once they walk in. I've had teachers talking when they walk in. I mean, we understand this. But the idea is when you cross over into the meeting house, you're making sacred space and you're doing something different than your everyday life. Every school is on a journey and every school does pretty good at it, but always struggling at it. I think there's always going to be some conflict with grades. There's always going to be some conflict with college. I went to a fancy college, and I would have been better off going to a college that was more suited to my personality than that, but I was taken in by the glamour of going to an Ivy League school, for example. I think grades can be in conflict. I think wealth can be in conflict. It's not an unsolvable conflict. Many Quakers were quite wealthy. They were great business people because they were honest. People trusted them. I think also sort of the kind of richness of our culture makes it hard sometimes to be simple, and that can be difficult. But I think we strive for community. Nobody gets this 100% right. And this is my 10th year, actually at the beginning of my 11th year as doing this job. And my goal has always been to help people find that place within themselves that allows them to be either a Quaker educator or a student in a Quaker school, and understand that thinking about our testimonies with humility, with that, again, that integrity piece of finding the truth, that they'll find a way to go forward in their lives. And then they'll change the world. That's what I'm always, all of education for me. John Dewey, very famous educator, early 20th century, always said the goal of education is to build a new world. God help us. I hope this next generation does a better job than we did.
Upper School Task, which stands for Teachers and Students for Quaker Education, helps clerk and support the weekly Upper School Meeting for Worship. This committee also plans occasional alternative meeting for worships, such as meeting for mindfulness and meeting for drawing, to provide different worship opportunities for students and faculty. We interviewed the high school leader of Task, Lily Brown, to find out what makes Meeting for Worship so special and how they help facilitate meetings.
So Task is a committee, and it stands for Teachers and Students for Quaker Education, and we basically make up the queries that people reflect on in Meeting for Worship, and we help plan part of Peace Week and community groups.
And how do you facilitate meetings?
So the clerks, they sit on the facing bench of meeting, and we just stand up and have everybody quiet down, and then we read the query that we made during committee block. And we just stand up at the end and close the meeting by shaking hands.
What's your favorite thing about Meeting for Worship?
I think it's just a good time of the week to have like some quiet time and like time to relax because everything's so busy. So it's a good time to just like think about things outside of school and just like meditate almost in like a busy week and busy school schedule.
Thanks to the work of Lily Brown and other Task members, Quakerism remains the driving force that helps unite our community. Every year, Friends Academy partakes in Peace Week, where students and faculty discuss what peace means and ways in which peace can be shared daily. We asked longtime faculty member Sarah Posey about what peace is in her own words.
Peace Week is a week usually in January, where usually the week of Martin Luther King Jr. week, where we spend time during the day, during that week, doing activities where we learn about peace, we promote peace, we have questions or songs or celebrations about peace. And it's a week that we started maybe 10 years ago, a terrific week where we can really focus on that very important value of our school.
We also interviewed the Venerable Lama Tenzin, who is a Buddhist monk and a college professor at Hobart and William Smith College. He's very well trained in the art of mandalas, and we are lucky to have Lama Tenzin come every year to demonstrate his skills and create beautiful mandala for all students to look at and enjoy.
Peace is a very important, not only is important, but it's very necessary in our life because, without peace, nothing matters in our life. So, to be a peaceful world, we need many peaceful individuals. So real peace can come through developing loving kindness and caring each other. So that's why loving kindness and compassion is the foundation or the basis of every peace. If there's no any kind of rule or regulation or force, you can make a peace. But if you are able to produce many individuals who are very happy, very calm, very compassionate, then this world will become very peaceful. So it's not only luxury, it's necessary in our life.
We hope you enjoyed our second episode of FATV. Until next time, I'm Izzy Rosen.
And I'm Xander Byers.
And this is
FATV.